Hi there guys, it's Martyn here, and welcome to a little bonus video for you. As you can see, we'll be taking a look at all things Nintendo Switch that I own today. Now I know a lot of you over the past few months, I've mentioned that I own a Switch in past videos, that I have games for it, etc. And some of you have actually been asking, can we see your collection, what you've got, all that sort of stuff. So I thought, yeah, why not? We'll have a quick look at some of the games and the Switch that I have. So I think we need to start, of course, with the system itself. So here it is, the Nintendo Switch. Oh god, there's my reflection. So we'll aim it like that. So I have the neon blue and red edition with the Joy-Cons, because I thought it looked nicer than the grey one personally. I got this in June of last year, and it's in pretty good knack. There's the logo on the back. Just a little tidbit, if you're thinking about getting a Nintendo Switch, so maybe have a pen and paper for this, it has 32 gigabytes of onboard memory, which in today's grand scheme isn't really that much. However, behind the kickstand, you can have a SD card slot, and I'm not going to take mine out just because it's really fiddly, but it's a micro SD slot. I got a 128 gigabyte one. You can often get them at a decent price, and it just helps with storing games and all that sort of stuff. I've owned this now for over a year, and I've only half filled the SD card on there, so they are really useful. Highly recommend them. So what did I get with my bundle? Well, give me a jump cut and I'll show you. Okie doke, so we're going to use these as the example of what I picked up, because this is what I got with my bundle. So I got the Switch and I had the choice to choose one free game, and I decided to choose Super Mario Odyssey. If you've played or heard about this game, you'll understand why. It's hauled as one of the best Nintendo, one of the best Mario games ever, and it is really, really good. It's a very fantastic Mario game, great platformer, and if you own a Switch, then this is a must-own title. There's no excuse for you not to own this title. I wonder what was inside. Oh, there you go. You've got the lyrics to Jump Up Superstar, which is like the theme song, if you like, of the game. So this was a brilliant game. This was my sort of freebie game with the Switch, and I thought, well, I need some extra stuff, and of course I was going to pick up this Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now, I've always been a big Mario Kart fan. Pretty much everyone loves Mario Kart. It's of course the definitive kart racing game, and I never owned a Wii U, as this is Deluxe. Mario Kart 8, the original, came out on the Wii U. I played it a bit on, friends' Wii U's and stuff, but this is just great. You've got, as it says, 48 tracks. You've got a great battle mode. You've got new racers from characters from series like Splatoon, and Link's in there as well from the Zelda series. So it's just, honestly, there's just so much good about this, and it's accessible for all sorts of players, and online it's pretty good as well. So this is the definitive Mario Kart, and inside you get the instructions, which is useful because, some people, we always forget, have not even played a Mario Kart game before. Great game, glad I picked this up with it as well. And then because I love the game, I know it's another racer, technically, of sorts. I got Rocket League. It says the collector's edition, so this came with the Flash decals and all this sort of stuff, and battle cars and items. And Rocket League, again, is a fantastic game of the past few years. If you haven't played it, pick it up. It's on pretty much every system. So welcome to the Rocket League Arena. It's basically, for anyone who isn't familiar, though I'm surprised if you aren't, it's basically imagine football but with cards and lots of science fiction. It's a fantastic game, and apparently it's 100 billion possible item combinations. Who knew that? So this came with a Supersonic Fury DLC, Revenge of the Battle Cars DLC, Chaos Run DLC, 4 additional battle cars, and Collector's Edition Limited Art Print. So it came with a lot of stuff, and this was actually quite an affordable game. Don't worry about those codes, they have been used. Rocket League's in there with the cartridge, and it came with some flashy Japanese style art. That's pretty cool. So yeah, great game, Rocket League. It's great multiplayer fun as well. So if you're into racing football with items, you should get Rocket League. And then I picked up this not on the same day, but pretty much the next day. It's Bayonetta 2 with Bayonetta 1. Now, I loved the first Bayonetta. I owned it for the Xbox 360. Traded it in, which was a shame. So when I heard that the series had gone Nintendo exclusive with Bayonetta 2 being on the Wii U and all subsequent releases just coming to Nintendo, I had to get this. It's a brilliant action game, lots of fast combat, lots of violence. It's a really brilliant game. And the fact you get a full download of the original Bayonetta is pretty good too. The original Bayonetta, it's about 8 or 9 gigabytes. That's why you need an SD card, because if you don't, then that's 1/4 of your save data gone there. There was the Bayonetta. Also, it was cool. You can reverse the art, so you can have a Bayonetta front cover if you so wished. I don't do that. It says Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2 rather than just Bayonetta 2. So, fantastic game. I don't know why these games are highly underrated. They don't get as much praise as they deserve. If you like your fast action, stuff like Devil May Cry, all that sort of stuff, then you need to get the Bayonetta games. So that was essentially what I got with my Switch. We'll just move down there. So the console and 4 games. And that kept me going for a while, but as you can see by the sea of red over there, it wasn't enough for long. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put those back on the shelf, and I'm just going to run through each game very briefly, tell you a bit about it, and my thoughts on it. So for consistency's sake, we are going to start at the very beginning. So the first game we have alphabetically is this one, Azure Striker Gunvolt Striker Pack. So this game is a very interesting one. So it brings both critically acclaimed Azure Striker Gunvolt and Striker Gunvolt 2 in one package. It's got high speed, high side-scrolling action. It's kind of like a Mega Man game in a way. It's really fast-paced. It's a really fast and fun game, and you can get this sort of cheap now in the UK, so if you like your fast-paced run and gun sort of stuff, this one's worth a try. So I'll put that over there. We talked about Bayonetta, of course, so next up we have this, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which again, like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it was a Wii U game originally, an exclusive. I'm glad they ported it over though. I might make a video about Wii U ports on Switch because I know it's a highly debated topic. I'm glad it's here because it means I get to play it. It does also have new courses based on Super Mario Odyssey, and since it came out last year, it's also had DLC with new courses and all that sort of stuff, so it is getting support, which I think is pretty good. And if you have amiibos, I'm not really into it, but you can unlock the Super Mario Odyssey courses early, so that's always a good thing. What's inside this one? Oh, again, this one is just the control scheme, which again, really, really useful. So that's Captain Toad. Really fun little game. Again, one that doesn't get as much praise as I think it deserves. Really fantastic game. You can get it for quite cheap as well here in the UK, so definitely pick that one up. We'll slide you back on in there. I'm going to stack them over there. Stacking them's always an interesting issue. Now, of course, Crash Bandicoot, the Insane Trilogy. This got ported to Switch last year. It has 2 bonus levels, which is Stormy Ascent, which is hard as anything, and Future Tense, which is in Crash Bandicoot 3. It has all the original trilogy remastered. I mainly played 1 and 2 when I was a kid on the PlayStation 1. So this was great for me because not only did I get to play Crash 1 and 2, you know, in remastered format, in all their glory, I actually got to play Crash Bandicoot Warped for the first time, as I'd never ever played that one before on the PlayStation. And inside this one is absolutely nothing. That's a bit disappointing. But I spent a lot of hours on this one because, you know, you can complete it, then you can complete the time trial missions, or you can get all the gems and stuff. Really fun game. You can sink your teeth into it. And again, it's only about, well, I say only, you know, you can get it for £25 to £30, which is affordable, I think, these days here in the UK. So that's Crash. We have more Crash with this, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. So this, of course, came out towards the end of June, so it's only about a month old, or not even that. This was originally a PS1 game as well in 1999, but it takes every track from Crash Team Racing and Crash Nitro Kart, which was the sequel back in the day, which is cool. It's all remastered, you've got multiple game modes, you can go online. It's a brilliant racing game. And again, it's not one I played as a kid, so to own it now in a remastered format and play it anywhere I like is really, really good fun. That code's already been used, so you can't use it, I'm afraid. So, I just feel like I have to say that. So yeah, if you like racing, and if you want something more skill-based, because Mario Kart, let's face it, you can claw your way back easily. This is far more skill-based. You want to test your skills, then this is definitely a game for you. Right, Crash can go all the way back there. Now next, I'll do these together. So this is De Blob and De Blob 2. Now, De Blob was originally released exclusively for the Wii back in 2008, over a decade ago, and this one, De Blob 2, came a few years later. I loved the first De Blob. I had it on the Wii. I think I've still got it on the Wii. And basically, it's sort of, I think, a precursor to like Splatoon. You paint the city, and that's really your main objective. I'm quite surprised it's been remastered and brought to Switch all these years later, but I'm thankful for it because it's a really good and fun game. And then De Blob 2 is the sequel, and I never played this originally. I didn't own it or anything. I played it very briefly on like a demo or something like that. I still haven't managed to sink my teeth into this properly, so I will get round to it, but they both, I mean, just from what I have played, they are both really fun. I mean, even if you've got younger kids, they'll like this, but even if you're older like me, these are really fun games, and these are really cheap. You can get these off Amazon between £15 and £20 a piece, so that's always good when it's slightly affordable. Next up, another Nintendo staple, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Again, this was a Wii U game originally, so another port. It's got a new mode with Funky Kong, but it is basically just an easy mode as he's practically invincible. This is a great platformer. If you love the Donkey Kong Country games on SNES, like I love the first one in particular, then you'll absolutely adore this. It's that, but like remastered in 3D, all that sort of stuff. A really great platformer, one of the best games on the Switch, I'd say. And again, you can flip the cover to have Funky Kong on the front if you're so inclined, but I kind of prefer the original. So if you like your platformers, definitely pick this up. Like all of the Nintendo titles, it rarely goes on sale in physical format. Sometimes on the eShop it goes down to like £30, so you're going to have to keep your eye out on that one. So what do we have next? We have, oh yeah, Hasbro Game Night. Now before you hate me, Hasbro Game Night has existed on loads of consoles for years now. So this is 3 games in one. It's Monopoly, it's Risk, and it's Trivial Pursuit. I picked this up dirt cheap when it came out. You can still find it dirt cheap now. I mean, Monopoly had a standalone release on the Switch, so for about the same price, so you're getting 2 extra games for free. I've played the Trivial Pursuit one a lot with friends. It's really a great version of Trivial Pursuit, so I'd highly recommend that. The Monopoly one's okay. It's not perfect, but it's decent. Risk, I've not played yet. I mean, I feel you need a lot of people for Risk. But if you've got family, you know, and you want to have a fun game night, or if you've got friends over, then this, honestly, for the price they're asking, isn't a bad deal. So I wouldn't write it off completely just because it's another game night thing. Now, we've talked about Mario Kart 8, so we'll slide that one over there. Great racer. Now, Namco Museum Arcade Pack. Now, I'm a sucker for a good compilation. I love releases of old titles. This one, I think, is 13, so here's some on the front. You've got Splatterhouse, Tank Force, Rolling Thunder, Sky Kid, Pac-Man, Dig Dug, Galaga, and Pac-Man Championship Edition 2+. That is a mouthful. So it's about 13 in one. Now, I know other Namco releases have had more games than this, like Miss Pac-Man's not on here, for example, or any of the spin-offs, and some of the choices are a bit more obscure, like the Rolling Thunder and the Sky Kid, but do you know what? All the games on here are very playable, and they're also very good. So if you like old school arcade stuff, 80s video games, and especially Namco games, then this isn't a bad deal. You don't see this often in shops, though, for some reason, so you can either get it digitally off the eShop, or you might be best trek into Amazon or something like that. Now, what do we have next? New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. So yeah, another Wii U port, 7 years after the original, which a lot of people complained about. I didn't, having never owned a Wii U. It's nice to get it over for the Switch. I actually quite like this cover. All the colours blend quite nicely. And what is it? It's basically your standard Mario game. You go from side A to side B, you jump on Goombas, you collect coins, you save the princess, all that good stuff. You can play with 4 players, which is really fun. And it actually has the Super Luigi U, which was DLC back in the day, built in. So you've got 164 courses, lots of good challenge, lots of good fun. I played through this in a matter of days, but I did spend all my time on it, in all fairness. There's the map for you as well. But this is a really fun game. So I'd argue if you had this on Wii U, don't buy this. It's not worth your money or time. But if you never own the Wii U version, definitely check this out. It is a lot of quick-fire fun. Now we have Puyo Puyo Tetris. I'm a big sucker for Tetris, absolutely adore puzzle games and all that sort of stuff, and it's an official Tetris product, as it says there, mixed with Puyo Puyo, which is another puzzle game that I wasn't that familiar with, but it is ultimately quite fun. You can play in various ways. You can play Puyo Puyo versus Tetris, or just a standard game of each on their own. There is a story mode as well, which is good fun. That's just boring stuff there, and there's the cartridge. Again, another affordable game, and it is available on things like PlayStation 4 if you don't have a Switch. And then we have Rayman Legends Definitive Edition. Now this is a port as well, but it's a multi-console thing. Rayman Legends came out years ago, about 2013 I think, but it is another great platformer. Rayman in recent years has had a massive resurgence. The maps are great, the combat's great, the way you fluidly jump around. It's just a great game. So if you like Rayman, if you're into that sort of stuff, Rayman Legends is really, really good. And then we have Rocket League. We've talked about you. And then another Wii U port, Rumbo Deluxe Edition. It includes the single-player game, and then a space adventure, costumes, and 2 stickers. Oh, ain't that nice. I got this on Black Friday last year, so it was cheap. And this is another sort of run to the end thing, but based on like how good your times are, all that sort of stuff. It is actually really fun. I highly recommend it. As I say, I got it on Black Friday for quite cheap. Although I think on the eShop it gets like half priced almost every other week. So, but it's, you know, definitely a fun game. And then we have the Sega Mega Drive Classics collection. I told you I'm a sucker for compilations. Over 50 classic games, and that certainly is right there is the list there. I'll hover on that a bit. Now, the only downside of this is there's some standout titles missing. There's no Sonic 3 or Sonic & Knuckles, yet there's Sonic 3D Blast and Sonic Spinball, which is a bit strange. But you have some true gems, like Gunstar Heroes is on here, which is a really, really great game. And you've got Sonic 1 and 2, and a lot of Mega Drive games that probably would have gone unnoticed back in the day, so that's always nice. Boring, boring, boring cartridge. So yeah, if you like the Mega Drive, if you grew up with it, I mean, this is on PS4 and Xbox One as well, but it's a nice little compilation. Not perfect, but nice enough. Sinmora EX. Now, this is like a sort of like an arcade shooter. It's actually really difficult as it goes on. It's quite affordable. You can get it fairly cheap on Amazon. I don't have much more to say because I've not played through all of it yet. But some of the voice acting's a bit hokey, but I mean, Sinmora it's fun. If you like arcade shooters, you'll like this for sure. And then we have Snipperclips Plus, yes, so Snipperclips is a really fun teamwork game, as it shows on the front there. So you are these two characters, and the idea is you can hover over each other and snip bits out of each other to complete puzzles, and my god, there are a lot of puzzles, tons of them. Interacting with items, over 100 challenges. Me and Lauren played this a lot when I first got the Switch, because I got this soon after. It's a really fun little game if you've got someone to play with, and it's also quite affordable, so that's Snipperclips. And then we have Sonic Mania Plus. Now then, I love classic Sonic, especially the 2D style, so to get this in a physical release is absolutely amazing. So, best Sonic game ever, yeah, I'll agree with that. You can also play as Mighty the Armadillo, and I think it's Ray, I can't remember, but these two, it doesn't really matter. But these are some great Sonic levels, and also this is great. You got a flippable cover, so it looks like a Mega Drive release, like a later Mega Drive release. I just think that's really good fun. But yeah, if you like classic Sonic, if you really love your Sonic stuff, then Sonic Mania Plus can't be ignored. One of the best Sonic games of the last few years, for sure. And then what we have next, Starlink. Yeah, now this is interesting. So Starlink is one of those Toys to Life games, which normally I'm not a fan of, but this had Star Fox in it in the Nintendo version. So when you buy it, you get this. So you put your Joy-Cons in there, and you get like your little ship. I've got my R-Wing. You equip weapons on the side, and it affects how you play in the game. The game is fun, but I think it does get a bit monotonous quite quickly. I know they keep releasing DLC for it, which is quite cool, and I might check it out sometime. But I mean, it does go on a bit, so only really get it if you know you or whoever you're buying it for is going to get your Steam out of it. And then next up, it is Mario Odyssey. We talked about that one. And then we have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, I'm just going to say this. This is the reason why I wanted a Nintendo Switch. No joke. I remember when the Switch came out in 2017, I was like, yeah, it's a cool idea, a cool system. But as soon as they dropped the trailer for what they were going to do with this, I was hooked. I ran out and I bought a Switch straight away. I got this at Christmas, the one just gone, and it's honestly a near perfect game. Look at all these characters, and they've added so many more. We've got more DLC coming, and the story mode was really engaging. I really enjoyed it. It's just, look at all this. It's just a fantastic game. I mean, I'm not going to say much because loads of people have already talked about it, but if you have a Switch, you have to own Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Truly, truly one-in-a-kind game there. And then Sushi Striker, the art of Sushido. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't played this yet. I haven't got around to it. I know it was, I think, a DS game before, a 3DS game. It is quite fun. It was on sale, quite massively on sale. So I will play this at some point, but yeah, it looks quite fun from all I've seen about it. And we're coming towards the end, 2 more games. So Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus. Now, to see a Wolfenstein game on like a Nintendo system, that was quite something. Doom is also on the Switch. I don't own that yet. But this is a truly great port, considering like you've got to downgrade the graphics. But honestly, that doesn't really matter. The whole experience of playing this on the Switch is fantastic. So if you like Wolfenstein, you should pick this up. It's a bit disappointing Wolfenstein 1 of the remakes isn't on here, because I believe they're releasing the new one on Switch. But if you like your shooters, then Wolfenstein's there for you. And then finally, last but not least, we have Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap, which is sort of a pseudo-remake of an old Sega Master System game, trapped in a world of monsters. You can play as Wonder Boy or Wonder Girl. And what's nice about this, you have retro mode, so at any point you can flip it and go from all the modern graphics to the old original graphics and sounds, which I think is a nice touch. It's a fun little platformer, not my favourite platformer ever, but do you know what? It's a lot of good fun. So let's have a look. So you got that. Oh, again, it's a flippable cover, so it looks more like a Master System release. Then what did we have in here? So you've got like a little instruction booklet. What games still come with instruction booklet? I love the fact it does. And also, it's nice, you get a little soundtrack sampler. It's not the full thing, but it comes on this like little mini disc, and I just think that's a nice addition. So thanks very much, Wonderboy team. So that's that. So that is all the games I own so far physically. I'll talk a bit more about the digital stuff, after this jump cut. So I showed you guys all the physical stuff, so here's my home screen, you can see a bit what I'm playing. So Nintendo Switch Online, I'll talk very briefly about that. Yes, I paid for it when it came out. I do enjoy playing my games online like Smash Brothers and Mario Kart, and I do quite like the NES thing. I wish we did just have a straightforward virtual console like the Wii and Wii U, but you know, maybe one day. Tetris 99, oh my goodness, what a brilliant game. I was hooked on this for ages when it came out. Great version of Tetris. I love it's sort of a battle royale mode against 98 other players, and when you actually come first in this, it feels great. Cuphead, that came out recently. Hard as nails, as everyone told me, but it is a really fun game. There's all my physical games in there. Pianista, basically Guitar Hero on a piano, but it's good. They've got a YouTube app, which is nice. Color Zen, very relaxing game. Let's go on all software. I'll do very brief about this because I'm aware this video is already getting super duper long. Graceful Explosion Machine, very great arcade style shooter. That's what we'll do. One sentence. VVVVVVV, hard as nails, sort of platformer game, really good fun. Downwell, a bottomless game, again arcade style, stuff on your phone, very good. Luminous, or however you pronounce it, a great puzzle game. We talked about those. Let's go down here. Fast RMX. Really fast-paced, fun racer. It can be difficult at some points, but really, really good fun. Gunman Clive, a HD collection. I believe these were 3DS games. Really fun little tidbits. They're not going to last you long, couple of hours, but good fun. Hollow Knight, really great game. Don't need to say more. Basically Space Invaders, but without the name, because they probably didn't want to get copyrighted. Aero, another sort of rhythm game. I love rhythm games. Hard as nails, not that memorable, but it is fun. What we got? We talked all about those. Runner 3. So if you remember the Bit Trip games in the Wii era, it's basically an extension of that. Really good fun. Wish it was a bit longer, especially since this was digital only and it isn't the cheapest game, but still really good. Velocity, 2 times. Great, again, shooter, both in a ship and also on foot. That's really good. And then what we got? Flat Heroes. Oh, when this came out, I was so hooked on this. So basically you jump around, you avoid getting hurt by things, you fight bosses. Honestly, play this. When you get a discount, please play Flat Heroes. Really great game. Limbo, really atmospheric. Me and Lauren love playing that together. Ikaruga, hard as nails shooter, like really hard, super duper hard. You got to be ready for that one. And what we got down here? Thumper, yes, brilliant rhythm game. Excellent example of a rhythm game. Great music, great atmosphere, great gameplay. Play that one for sure. Mega Man Legacy Collection. So you've got the first 6 Mega Man games on NES now on your Switch, which is good fun. Enter the Gungeon, a nice sort of dungeon crawler type game. That's pretty good. Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time, a great co-op game with friends for sure. Ink, the first eShop game I played. Really good. Sort of a platformer. You got to splat your way to the end. Very challenging, but also very fun. 6180 The Moon, a very cheap and simple game, basic shapes and all that, but me and Lauren love playing through it together. Great with a friend. And, Astro Bears Party, my god. Basically Snake, but with bears and you jump around. Cheap, easy, really great fun. So those are all those sort of games. The eShop is a great system. I do love it. I spend a lot of time on it browsing through all the deals and stuff. I'd always say wait for sales because they do happen to most of the games. But the Nintendo Switch overall, in summary, I've had it for over a year now, guys, and it's honestly, I can say, one of the best video game related purchases I've ever made. And I don't say that often, but it really is a great system with a great library of games that is going to continue to expand as the years go on. There's so many great games to look forward to, like new Zeldas, new Metroid that's coming. So if you have a Switch, and I've inspired you to buy some of these games, that's fantastic. Let me know in the comments if you've got a Switch and what games you have for it. I'm very interested to know what you've got. Or if you're thinking about a Switch, also let me know in the comments. See if I can give any advice on like where to get it from, what bundles you should go for. I'm more than happy to help. And that's all for this video, so thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoy your Nintendo Switch if you have one. Maybe see you on the online servers from time to time. Please like the video, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you're new, share it around with your friends. And until the next one, I will see you guys next time.